All right, I've been sitting here flapping my jaws to my dog for like the past 2.5 hours. So I figured out my gums at you guys for much less time than that because I only have 11% on my battery. So, welcome to another YouTube page with a guy talking on a porch. But, okay, so this ascension is starting to get really intense, okay? And I just want to like give us a few scenarios of what might happen to you / what has been happening with me, okay? And I haven't been able to say these things. I haven't been able to put these things on the internet, but I'm being told that it's okay now and like that it's time. Like it, the world looks at you like you know how the world has already classified these things. They've already put everything against beings like us who have started this evolutionary process. All right, so since about last year, I have been experiencing bilocation. Um, this is really cool. It started by seeing like cubes and spirals and things all over the wall, and I later grew to find that that was Christ consciousness. Around this time, I started to see a lot of demons, and my girlfriend got possessed. I got fucking possessed. Threw myself out of a fucking window. Shit got nutty fast. Portals were opening up everywhere. There were tons of crystals in the house. My girlfriend's mom comes in one day, looks at all our crystals and says, "No puertas." And we look at each other like, definitely portals. We're definitely going to open up portals with these. Duh. We're young wizards. This is what we do. We open portals. We talk to other worlds. Found these eggs on Easter, these ceramic eggs on Easter, and then took these doses with these cherubims on them. As we were sitting there discussing how we were told not to make any images on heaven or on earth, me and her just sitting next to each other like Indian style, across from one another, starting to fry super hard. And I start to see these seals everywhere. And I look at her and I'm like, why am I seeing like Akkadian and like Sumerian and Babylonian seals? And she's like, I'm seeing them too. And I was like, there is an energy that is so powerful that is about to take over me, that if it takes over me, I don't think there'll be any more of me left. And I can't let it take over me, because then there's not going to be any more me left. And I don't want to lose myself. A year and a half after that, I realized that that self that I was afraid to lose was my ego. There was an energy beginning to embody in me, and that was a crystal. Points throughout the evolution where everything seemed as if it wasn't what it was supposed to be, but when it started to become more of what I couldn't perceive, then I began to be more inclined to surrender. I noticed that I wasn't just a person, you know what I'm saying? The old adage is true, you're not a drop in the ocean, but the entire ocean in one drop. And as I looked around, I began to see like all the currents and like the flows of everything that exists. Right now, we are literally anchoring new earth. When I look up in our skies, I didn't say my skies, say our skies. When I look up in our skies, I see fifth dimensional end spheres. I can see the toroidal flow and the shape of our consciousness together as one being. Okay. This is called unity. I think it's beautiful that we live in a universe. Okay. And we are trying to find unity through diversity. All right. And as I'm saying this to you guys, I'm having deja vu right now. Actually, it's deja rev, which means already has been dreamed. So I know that this is a moment where a possibility bundle has collapsed. And that means that what was projected from a dream state was what was actually real. That everything that was happening between then and now, whenever that now was, has transpired. So it was able to collapse. When I speak a lot of times, guys, I know that the shit sounds far out, but that's because that's how deep you have to swim. The shallow part is the closest to the beach. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta go far out to go deep. The further you go out, the deeper you're able to swim, literally. Like, but you have to learn to love yourself, because while you're swimming out there, that's your life jacket. Your scuba gear. I'm sorry. Scuba gear is your love for who you are, and you should always love yourself, especially if you're brave enough to walk out there into that water and you haven't been Christed yet. They've been Christed, so we can't stand on the water and walk across it. We have to dive really deep past the leviathans and the different beings that want to pull us into the abyss of our subconscious, so we're not able to actually speak our truth. And that truth is that we are the same as the waters. For a thought, an idea is simply water pulled from water. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter if you're thinking about a higher density, lower density, this level of consciousness or this level of consciousness. To be able to speak it is simply water from water. It's all water. Your thoughts, the way that you move, the way that you are, you're 70 to 80% water. Water can also be seen as plasma. There are a lot of solar flares happening right now. The sun emits plasma and solar flares. I'm sorry, it's really funny to me. It is. That's what's happening to us right now. We come from waters. We come from the ethers of everything, the ethers of thought, okay? We live in a very low density. This density is not a high vibration, but a low vibration where light gets frozen and you can see things. Your sensation. Okay, and you'll know and you'll understand this as your cells begin to wake up to themselves. To become conscious, what you mean by saying I'm ascending, you simply mean that you are one atom, knowing that you have become many other atoms, that once you embody into a physical form, you perceive the interconnectivity of all things as quantum connections, when really it's just self-connections. It's not quantum in the sense that it exists outside of you and it needs some type of very high vibrational, high-tech equipment. I'm gonna have to get off here. I'll do a point two when I get back from the show. But it's not high vibrational in the extent that it takes you creating it to see it. You have to get past the third dimension. Don't be third dimensional. You'll see a lot of people saying this. Work is slavery. It's energy out for not nearly as much energy back. Please don't feed the machine. Stop feeding the machine, everyone. It's not going to work anymore. It's falling. And so the quicker we revert to our natural organic selves and unplug, we can still keep our phones, we can still keep TV. Art's cool. Art's really cool, you know what I'm saying? But we have to use discernment. We have to be able to discern rightfully from wrongfully. It's very simple, and that's the only way you can get past having to do that, which is the point of ascension. It's moving past polarity and becoming a open source channel, which is like the triquetra from the Celtic cultures, and that means unity. It's the Trinity. It's the one within the left and the right, which is in a dualized mind perceived to be the all. All right, I'll be back.